Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam and welcome back to the AFI Project. Today we're going to be dipping back into the Stanley Kubrick well and talking about Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. And just a note, I'm just going to be referring to it as Dr. Strangelove from here on out, because if I just keep saying the title, it's just going to get repetitive and annoying. This is based on the book called Red Alert, written by Peter George, and it starred George C. Scott, Slim Pickens, Sterling Hayden, and Peter Lorre playing multiple roles. And without going too deep into the plot, this movie is essentially a black comedy about the absurdities of the Cold War. And considering the fact that this movie was released in 1964 when it was in the thick of the Cold War, it was a pretty relevant movie at the time, that's all I'll say. Stanley Kubrick had already been well on his filmmaking journey by the time Dr. Strangelove was released. He had made Spartacus, which had gotten several Oscars, and Lolita, which had gotten critical praise as well. So he was riding high, and so he decided that his next project would be an adaptation of Red Alert by Peter George. However, his initial plans were to make this just a straight Cold War thriller, but done in Kubrick's own unique style, but realized rather quickly that he could find more material to work with if he played this movie as a satire rather than just a straight Cold War thriller. As a matter of fact, Kubrick, who normally kept things pretty close to the chest when it comes to his filmmaking decisions, said in regards to the tonal shift between serious and funny in an interview, and he said, "My idea of doing it as a nightmare comedy came in the early weeks of working on the screenplay. I found that in trying to put meat on the bones and to imagine the scenes fully, one had to keep leaving out of it things which were either absurd or paradoxical, in order to keep it from being funny, and these things seemed to be close to the heart of the scenes in question." Along with the tonal shifts, there were several working titles for this movie as well. Some of them included Dr. Doomsday, or How to Start World War III Without Even Trying, Dr. Strangelove's Secret Uses of Uranus, Uranus, and simply Wonderful Bomb. Man, if this movie had bombed at the box office, like the headlines write itself. Wonderful Bomb is a wonderful bomb. And sometimes when it comes to dark comedies like this, sometimes real-world events happen and change some of the content of the finished product. And it was more than the case with Dr. Strangelove, because the initial test screenings for this movie were supposed to happen on November 22nd, 1963. In other news, that was the same day that John F. Kennedy was shot and killed in Dallas, Texas. As a matter of fact, there was a line in the movie where Slim Pickens is in the plane and he's going over the emergency supplies, and he punctuates reading off the list by saying, "Wow, that's one hell of a night in Dallas." When you watch the movie nowadays, you'll see that Slim Pickens' mouth is saying Dallas, but you'll hear him say Vegas, because everybody went back into the editing room and changed out Dallas to Vegas for, well, very obvious reasons. And the movie was supposed to release in December of '63, however the studio decided, yeah, that's probably not the smartest idea, so they bumped it back up a month to January of 1964. This was yet another first-time watch for me, and I was really excited for this one, because everyone I've talked to said that this movie is just one of the greatest black comedies ever made. It's like the pinnacle of satire, and so I was pumped beyond belief. And I'm happy to report that my feelings on this movie match everyone else's, and I think this movie is it's genius. Though for the sake of honesty, about the first third of the movie I was a little unsure on, because I was sitting there like, okay, the movie looks great, first and foremost, and I like the tone that they're going for, but I'm not sure where the satire part comes in. Once the movie transitions into the war room, that's when stuff gets funny. I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but first I want to talk about Peter Lorre, because while the acting in this movie is stellar, Peter Lorre is the highlight. Lorre ends up playing Dr. Strangelove himself, the US president, and a British commander. Lorre was actually supposed to play a fourth character, Major King Kong, the role that would end up falling to Slim Pickens. But Lorre felt that the role was too challenging for him, so he just stuck with the three. Oh, so playing the US president, a deformed German man, and a Brit was okay, but playing a Texan was challenging for you? Peter Lorre, Dan Crenshaw frowns upon you, sir. I kid, of course. Lorre is the highlight of the entire movie, and he's just excellent. And like I said earlier, Kubrick intended to play this movie totally straight, but then when he recognized, oh, these situations are absolutely absurd, he still played it totally straight, but instead of going for it like a complete white-knuckle thriller, he plays it up like a comedy. The change is subtle, but if you notice it, you will be rolling in your seat, like, seriously. Like, let me just read off some of the character names in this movie. President Merkin Muffley, which, I mean, that said itself. Merkin. Sterling Hayden's character is literally named Jack Ripper, as in Jack the Ripper. Slim Pickens' character is literally named T.J. King Kong. I could go on, but I'm sure you all understand my point. The funniest moment in the movie, at least for me, is when George C. Scott's character, General Buck Turgidson, is explaining the situation that they're in. Major Jack D. Ripper has instructed planes to strike at the USSR with nukes. And just the way that how these orders are carried out is just ridiculous. The officers are forced to cut off all communication for the risk of there being false communication. And basically, once all these steps happen, they're like, alright, we're severing all of this. It's like kind of a no turning back kind of way. I seriously am not doing it justice. Once you're in the movie and you see the context of it all, it's fantastic. And at the end of the day, this is a movie that I'm definitely not doing justice. You all just have to go and see it to just find out for yourself. What I will say about it, though, is best black comedy of all time? Yeah, I can definitely vouch for that. But that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Next time on the AFI Project, we're going to be taking a bit of a hard left into talking about a musical, and this one is from 1965, and it is The Sound of Music. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way, when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.